As a behaviorist and trainer, I've seen medium breeds that have walked the line between perfect pet and chaotic handful. Before you fall for that adorable face, let me share my experiences with you of the most popular medium breeds. First up, we have the French Bulldog. Very popular breed. I would say in the last maybe 10, 15 years, this breed's popularity has surged worldwide. From an energy level perspective, I would say they're kind of below, maybe moving towards medium. Nah, I'm going to take that back. I would put them in the low energy category. Sociability, I have worked with quite a few Frenchies that have had issues with other dogs. They can be a little bit iffy sometimes with some people, but I would say I would give them a medium on the sociability scale, with perhaps low when it comes to sociability with other dogs. Noise-wise, like a true brachycephalic breed, so a snub-nosed breed, they're not particularly noisy, which is great. This doesn't include their snoring and their grunting. And I think we all know that adorable Frenchie, I think his name is Walter, the one that screams when his owner leaves him in the car. That's quite a scream. So they shouldn't, they're not prone to being barkers, but there's lots of other noises that they make. Maintenance, there's not a lot in terms of maintenance here with regards to the dog's coat. And apologies if you hear snoring in the background. I have one of my Danes joining me today while I'm filming, and she's nodded off and she's snoring up a storm in the background. Pony, stop snoring. There's no denying that French Bulldogs are adorable and full of character. They also come with some serious health concerns that every potential owner should be aware of. In fact, health should be a major consideration with any breed you're thinking about. Let me show you what I mean. Every breed has its own health risks. Ignoring this fact can lead to heartache. Do your homework before you choose. Research common conditions in the breed you're considering. Ensure breeders do health testing. Ask your vet what to watch for if you have a crossbreed or a rescue. A little research now saves worry later. Your future self and your dog will thank you. Next up on our medium breeds, we have the Beagle. Activity level, probably medium. These can be quite active little dogs. And remember, Beagle's not actually a dog, guys. It's a nose that happens to have 4 legs and a tail. Their activity level is very much determined by what their nose, the information that their nose is feeding them. Once these guys pick up a scent, they can just become a little speck on the horizon. Sociability, generally great. Remember, Beagles were bred to hunt in large packs, so they're generally very sociable with dogs and people. Noise, a Beagle, they can be quite noisy, especially when they bay. So that's that very unusual or unique sound that they make when they've picked up a scent and they're alerting the rest of the pack to this and saying, come on, guys, let's go find whatever's this delicious scent is emanating from. Maintenance, nice, easy to care for breed. There's not too much there in terms of coat. The Staffordshire Bull Terrier, amazing breed. I love Staffies. Activity level, medium. Some Staffies, I would say, is even starting to verge towards the high. Sociability, generally amazing with people, but you can have issues with other dogs, so that's something you need to be mindful of. Noise, Staffies can actually be quite noisy. They've got this weird, it sounds like a goat being strangled noise that they make when they get frustrated, and their bark is also very, very high pitched, so they can unfortunately be noisy dogs. Maintenance, nice, smooth, easy to care for coat. The Whippet, lovely breed. Activity level is actually quite low. Like a lot of your sight hounds, they love to run. They kind of are either running or sleeping. There's not much in between. There's not much nuance when it comes to these guys. And your Whippets are not dogs that are going to be demanding exercise from you like some of the other medium breeds that we're going to cover. Sociability, I'd say pretty average. They don't have that same social draw towards other dogs and people. They're a little bit more aloof, but that does make them a bit easier to manage in those situations. They're not wanting to pull your arm off to get to every other dog and person. So that is actually quite a perk in some cases. Noise, quite a quiet breed. It's not one that's commonly associated with problematic barking. Maintenance, also nice, smooth, easy coat. You wipe it with a chamois, and that dog looks like you've just polished them. Then the Cocker Spaniel. So here we have to draw a line between the working Cocker and the showline Cocker. Your working Cockers have got very high activity levels. Generally, I don't mean to be unkind, but they're not the most sociable dogs with regards to other dogs and people. It's almost like they're too focused or too serious about their work. Noise-wise, they can be noisy, but it's not a breed that I would say is commonly known for problem barking. Maintenance, the coat can require a little bit of work. So your working line Cocker Spaniels are not what I would call great family pet choices. On the other side of the coin is your showline Cockers that can be great family dogs. They're a little bit less intense. Well, I say a little bit less intense. They're quite a lot more less intense. The activity level is lower. They are generally more sociable towards people and dogs. Noise, I guess they could be prone to problem barking, but it's not common. And maintenance, you've got the same issue with the coat there. In fact, with your showline Cockers, you're going to have more maintenance because their coats are generally more profuse than the working line Cockers. While a breed might look consistent on paper, in real life, individual dogs can vary a lot. That's actually true for many breeds, and it's something most people don't realize when choosing a dog. Let's talk about breed predictability. It's really important to remember that dogs of the same breed aren't clones. You can get a chilled out border collie or one that's bouncing off the walls, or a busy basset hound who dislikes snoozing on the couch. Individual personality, upbringing, environment, they all play a big role. So while breed traits give you a good starting point, they don't guarantee a carbon copy personality. Always meet the individual dog, or if you're getting a puppy, ask about the parents and their temperaments too. Or even better, spend some time with the parents to get an idea of their pup's likely temperament. Taking your time to make the right choice will maximize happiness for you and your dog. The Bulldog. Activity level, generally low. Sociability, Bulldogs, they can be, this is a tricky one. I wouldn't say that they have a sociability issue with people. However, if they do, it's quite difficult to manage because that's actually quite a big dog. Even though they're in the medium dog category, that's a lot of dog. With other dogs, we can have some sociability issues there, but a large part of this is also the dog's background and experience. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you can take a dog that's renowned for being unsociable to other dogs and change that 100% through socializing and training. You can only operate within that dog's genetic constraint. But the Bulldog, for me, they were not a breed of dog that was developed to be hanging out with other dogs or to be working alongside other dogs. So we sometimes find sociability issues with Bulldogs. So bear that in mind. Noise, not going to be big barkers, but going to be big snorers and grunters and groaners. Maintenance, nice easy coat to take care of. Your Australian Shepherd, your Aussies, activity level high. Okay, these are busy, active dogs. Sociability, it depends again on the dog. If they've been raised in an environment where there's been a lot of emphasis put on impulse control and giving the dog something to do other than and behave like a bit of a psycho, they can be very sociable around other dogs. They're generally always sociable with people. But if the dog is, say, for example, a working type Aussie, and there's been most of the emphasis has been put on drive and pushing forward, you might find that this could cause problems when it comes to sociability with other dogs. So be mindful of that. I think the Aussie has got potential to be sociable with other dogs, but it depends in which direction you've channeled all of their energies. So have your eyes open on that one. Noise, they can be barkers. They can be prone to barking, especially frustration barking. And maintenance, it's an exquisite, beautiful coat, but that's a lot of hard work to keep that coat looking like that, brushing that coat out to make sure that it doesn't get matted or tangled. So that, unfortunately for me, would be a deal breaker. I have Great Danes. If my dog's coat requires more care than I spend on my own hair, that's a bit of a problem for me. Standard Poodles, one of the most underrated breeds. These are fantastic dogs. Activity level medium, but suitably channeled. I would even maybe put them into the high activity category. They're very malleable like that. Sociability can be amazing to both people and dogs. Noise, not excessively noisy dogs, not super barkers. Maintenance, there's the drawback, there's the downside. But you could choose just to keep the coat short, just keep the coat clipped. If you want to go with the show type coat, that is a serious amount of effort required to maintain that. But in summary, the standard poodle can be an excellent choice as an active family dog. The Border Collie, the Einstein of the canine world. Activity level can be exceptionally high, especially if the dog is coming from working stock. Those dogs have been bred to pretty much work a solid 6 to 8 hours a day in the field. So this is a lot of dog. It's got a lot of energy that it has to get rid of. If it doesn't get rid of that energy appropriately, you're going to have behavior problems. Sociability can be very sociable to other dogs and people, but again, that's if the dog's activity needs are met. Noise, also, if they are not getting adequate physical and mental stimulation, they will start self-stimulating, and this could be through barking and other kinds of behavior problems. So Border Collie, make sure that you're able to give this dog what it needs. Maintenance, there can be quite a bit of PT with that coat as well. And you do get some types that have a shorter coat or a smoother coat. It depends on what lines you get from, I guess. But you can have some Border Collies where their coat is quite a lot of work to maintain and to keep the dog happy and comfortable. When deciding which dog breed is right for you, here's a tip that'll make all the difference. Talk to the pros, trainers, vets, groomers. We see the patterns, challenges, and surprises. Some breeds look perfect on paper, but they can be overwhelming for first-time owners. Others seem high maintenance, but fit perfectly. Don't just rely on breed profiles or quizzes. Reach out to someone who knows the real-life implications and has hands-on experience. Choose wisely. Your future self will thank you. Then the Springer Spaniel. Activity level, I would say medium. Sociability, super sociable with dogs and people. You do get some working line Springers where what I said about the Cocker Spaniel applies. Your working lines are going to tend to be higher activity and less sociability. So make sure of that with your Springer Spaniels as well. You do get not as stark a difference between working and show lines as you do in the Cocker Spaniel, but this can occur in the Springer Spaniel as well. So depending on what it is that you're looking for, select appropriately. Noise, not particularly noisy dogs. Maintenance, again, we come back to the coat. A Springer Spaniel in a proper show coat is a beautiful thing to behold, but that's a lot of work that goes into making that lovely image. Then a weird breed for me to have in the medium breeds is the Siberian Husky. For in my mind, I always put them into the large breed category, but they are actually medium breeds in terms of weight and size. Activity level, exceptionally high. You remember what these dogs were bred to do. They were bred to be put into harness, attached to a sled, and to become an ever-decreasing speck on the horizon. That was their function. So remember this when you get, if you're thinking of getting a husky, this is not a dog that's going to be happy with one little short walk every day. This is a dog that needs a lot of exercise. Sociability, quite sociable dogs with people and other dogs. I've met very, very few huskies that are not what I would say exceptionally sociable. Most of them really are quite friendly to people and other dogs. Noise, oh my word. This is the foghorn of the dog world. Nothing can make a noise like a husky can. Your neighbors will know within about 3.2 seconds when you've got yourself a husky. They can be exceptionally noisy. Not the barking, but the howling and the other weird noises that come out of them. Maintenance, again, that coat is its work. There's a lot of brushing that's required there. So make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. And then our last medium breed is the Hungarian Vizsla. This is a breed that one day when I'm a grown-up, I definitely would like to have one of these. I absolutely adore them. Activity level, medium to high. Sociability, super sociable to people and dogs. For me, and we'll cover this in our next video when we talk about the GSP, which is the German Shorthair Pointer. A Vizsla is kind of like a goofy version of a GSP. They've got the energy, but they're not quite as intense, and I find them much easier to manage. Noise, not exceptionally noisy dogs, and maintenance, nice and easy, nice smooth, short coat. Vizsla, if you've got the energy for this active breed of dog, and you enjoy doing lots of things with your dog, then the Vizsla is perfect for you. Medium breeds often seem like the safest middle ground, but the devil is in the detail here. Make sure that the breed that you choose is the right fit for you and your lifestyle. If you're curious about whether a large breed could perhaps be the right fit for you, stick around. We're going to cover that in our next video. If this video has helped you at all, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing so you don't miss out on our next videos on dog behavior and dog training.